JNL videos. Hi guys, it's Luke here, and I'm going to do some baseball tip review here today in this video. If you guys don't know how to play baseball, I do, and I'm going to give you some tricks and pointers about hitting. Here we go. So make sure you have a bat. I would prefer you guys have some sort of plate, if not have some sort of marker where you can act like your feet are and put your bat across it. So now that you have all these materials, just make sure you're in a wide open area. I prefer you guys to be outside, but make sure you're in a wide open area, no people around you, no objects where you could damage, and let's get started. So, start off with feet. So make sure your feet are perfectly in the perfect spot. You want to usually set up your left foot right where you see where the plate curves in, or it curves into the edge of a diamond. You put your left foot there, and then put your right foot about about where your right shoulder is. I'm giving you the technique for if you're a righty. But make sure your feet are about shoulder apart, about where your feet are on the ground could vary. If it's a slow pitcher, you'd want to be closer, but not out of the batter's box. And if it's a fast pitcher, you want to be back here, so you're able to have more time to react to it. But you set up in this position, and then have your feet. Make sure you have your knees bent forward. So you have your knees bent. Make sure your actual body is facing where your feet. Make sure your feet are facing forward. Make sure your body is facing that way. Now with your hands, make sure your hands are in good position. Pretty much from your belly button to your shoulders. Anywhere in between there is where you want your hands. You put your hands there. You want to make sure that you have your elbows about the same level. If not, some people are different. Some people want to have it back a little more. Some people have it up like this. I prefer it up, but I usually teach you guys to keep it about level. And then while you're in this position, you want to be staring at the pitcher. The pitcher would be that way for me. You'd be staring at the pitcher. So now this is my starting position. But I want you guys to remember, I'm going to show you from this side. When you're like this, you want your bat to be at a 45-degree angle behind you. Make sure it's at about 45 degrees, like this. This is about 45 degrees. Make sure your bat is about there. I'll talk about the grip now. It's when you grip your hands. There's a lot of mistakes where people grab their bats like this, or grab it like this. What you want to do is with your knocking knuckles, line up your knocking knuckles like this. You can see it's lined up, and that is how you grip the bat. And so, this is, now that I showed you starting stance, I'll tell you how to go forward with your stance. How to stride back. So now that I showed you starting position, now this is when the pitcher is there from the windup. This is when they're about to lift their leg. They're like here, about to lift their leg going forward. This is when you're in this position, and then is when you want to transfer your weight to your back foot. So what I do is, because when you start off in your regular position, you're 50-50. You have the same amount of weight distribution on both sides of your body. But when you want to go back, you want to have the 80% on your back side, 20% on your front side. So now that you're like this, you go back like this. Notice how when I went back, I move my hands back with it. So then you go back like this. There's a lot of ways to do it. Some people have the stance that's up, and they go back like this. Some people go back quickly and go forward. I just go back regularly, bring my hands back. Make sure when you're doing this, you're not dropping your hands back like this. Keeping your hands in the same formation they were, at a 45-degree angle. And now with this, now when you go back, this is when you can either step forward with your front foot, you just lift it up, or what I do is I go back and then forward. So I'll show you how this motion goes and I'll explain it, how I do it. Now that, so now you're here. If you want to go like this, I'll explain it how you just go forward. You just go forward with it. So if you're like this, you go back. As you go forward, you can take yourself forward. Once you push yourself forward, you distribute your weight forward. Make sure twist your back leg, and now both your feet are facing towards the pitcher. But your hands, the knob of the bat is still facing the pitcher. Now in this position is when you bring your bat forward. This is where you want to make contact with the ball. Once you make contact, make sure you bring your full stride of your arms out, and then you extend backwards. But when you have to make sure, when you're going forward, try not to drop your hands on the contact point. If you go down, you're flying that ball up, and if you drop down, you go up and then go down, so you're swinging, and actually just drop the ball for easy ground balls. You have to make sure when you have your knob, your bat should be completely straight, and that's when you just bring it forward. And so there's a lot of common hitting flaws with this. Just with your feet, there's a lot of ways. Some people stand like this. Some people have a very wide stance. And then with this, some people have the bat down here. Some people have it back here. Have it on your shoulder. I'm not saying all those ways are wrong, but there's just better ways to interpret that into your stance. So now I pretty much showed you how everything works in the stance. I'll take a couple swings. I'll go from really slow to go up, and I'll mention how to do everything. Before I do that, I'll do it, and I'll take a check for every single thing that I'm supposed to do. I'll check it off as I go. So see, feet facing that way, and they're lined up shoulder length. Check. Knees are bent. Check. Body's facing that way. Check. Elbows are between belly button and shoulders. Check. Hands are about where shoulder is. Maybe a little bit higher. Depends how you prefer your stance. Let's check. Make sure your grip, his knocking knuckles are lined up. And I have that as a check. That at a 45-degree angle. And check. And now as you want to do this, go back. Bring your hands back. Transfer your weight to 80-20. And as you're going forward, you twist your hips. So you twist your hips. So make sure once you take your stride forward, you turn these feet simultaneously. Turn your bottom 2 feet simultaneously until you get it shoe facing the pitcher. When you're at this, your bat, you should be able to come around very cleanly. So now I'll do a short demonstration of what you do it. And make sure your eyes are facing the pitcher at all times. Once the pitcher is coming in, that's when you take your eyes off the pitcher and make sure you know where that ball is going. You should be able to read it when it comes off his hands. So I'll do a short demonstration of my stance and a slow one, so you'll be able to see how to do everything correctly. Let's do that again. Do it. Starting stance. Go back. Turn the hips. Snap to the ball. Contact. Stride. Extend. Those are the steps to hitting. And I'll show you one more demonstration of just my swing and see if you can replicate it. Okay, this is my first baseball tips video. I'll see you in my next one.